It's payday Friday. Two people walk out of the same building with the same job and the same paycheck, $1,500 every 2 weeks. By the 28th of the month, Sam will be broke. Dana is a full month ahead of her bills. Same job, same money. And here's the strange part. Sam isn't doing anything wrong. He budgets, he's careful, he can tell you where his money goes. Except he can't. Because there's a glitch in the calendar that hides $3,000 from Sam every single year. Do the math with me. $1,500, 26 paychecks, that's $39,000 a year. But a monthly budget, $3,000 a month, only makes plans for 36. Somewhere in Sam's year, $3,000 shows up and never gets a job. It isn't stolen. He can't name a thing he spent it on. It just disappears. Today I'll show you exactly where it goes and how Dana catches it. I'm Charlie. This is Charlie's Money. One big money idea per video, drawn out until it clicks. Here's where we're going. First, the glitch itself. It has a name, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Second, where that missing money actually goes, because it's not where you think. And third, a three-step fix that can put you a full month ahead of your bills within a year, without earning a single extra dollar. By the end, you'll know something most people never figure out about their own paycheck. Stay with me. First, if you're paid every 2 weeks, you're the normal one. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says about 43% of private employers pay this way. That's more than any other schedule in America. So this glitch isn't a corner case. It's the default. Now watch the two clocks. Your bills run on months, rent, phone, car payment, once a month, every month. But your income runs on weeks, every second Friday, no matter what the month is doing. And here's the thing nobody says out loud. A month is not 4 weeks. It's 4.33 weeks. That tiny decimal is this entire video. Because look what it does. 52 weeks in a year divided by 2 is 26 paychecks. But a monthly budget counts 2 paychecks a month. 12 months, 24 checks. 10 of your months really do catch exactly 2 paychecks. But 2 months every year quietly catch 3. Which 2? That depends on your payday schedule. We'll find yours in a few minutes. The point is, your budget was built to see 24 paychecks. It cannot see the other 2. They're standing in plain sight, and your budget looks right through them. There's a name for this. Well, there is now because I'm naming it. The 26-24 problem. 26 paychecks arrive. 24 get counted, 2 vanish, every year, on schedule. So, where does the third paycheck go? Nowhere dramatic. And that's exactly the problem. Spending behaves like a gas. It expands to fill the month it lands in. That third check arrives in a month where the rent is already covered and every bill is already paid. So it doesn't feel like extra money. It feels like breathing room. A slightly nicer grocery run. One more dinner out. The subscription you meant to cancel and didn't. Nothing reckless. Just a month where the money had no assignments, so it assigned itself. And the calendar has a second trap waiting. Most bills cluster at the first of the month. But bi-weekly paydays drift. They land 2 days later every month, sliding around the calendar all year. So a few times a year, Sam's rent is due 3 days before his money arrives. On paper, Sam earns plenty. In real life, he overdrafts and pays a $34 fee for the privilege of being paid on the wrong Friday. Here's why this matters beyond Sam. Bank of America's research says about 1 in 4 American households is living paycheck to paycheck. Among Gen Z, it's 42%. We talk about that like it's a discipline problem. And sometimes it is. But for millions of people paid every 2 weeks, part of it is structural. The calendar is misaligned with the money. Nobody handed them the schedule. Now, maybe you're thinking, come on, it's $3,000. I'd notice $3,000. Would you? Sam's a smart guy, and he's been not noticing it for 9 years. That's $27,000, by the way. But fair enough. Let's say you'd notice. Here's why this is still the most expensive glitch in your financial life. Take those 2 invisible paychecks. $3,000 a year. And instead of letting them evaporate, invest them. At a 7% average return, which is roughly what a boring index fund has done over the long run, 30 years turns those checks into about $283,000. Start in your 20s and give it 40 years? Just under 600,000. That's not new money. That's not a raise or a side hustle or a lottery ticket. That's money you already earn every year that the calendar is currently hiding from you. 2 paychecks a year is the difference between retiring tired and retiring comfortable. So, how do you catch them? That's what Dana figured out. And maybe 1,500 isn't your number. Doesn't matter. The glitch scales. If your check is $1,000, your two invisible paychecks are $2,000 a year. About $189,000 over 30 years. Check is $2,000? That's $4,000 a year hiding, $378,000 invested. $2,500 a check? Nearly $500,000. Whatever you earn, the rule is the same. Two of your paychecks are invisible. And they're the two that could quietly build your future. The bigger your check, the more expensive it is to keep not seeing them. Back to our two co-workers. Same March, drawn side by side. Sam budgets by month, like almost everyone. His budget says March is fine. 3,000 in, 3,000 out. But March doesn't pay Sam monthly. His rent is due on the 1st, and his paycheck lands on the 3rd. His budget is correct, and he overdrafts anyway. The spreadsheet says fine. The checking account says fee. Now Dana, same paycheck, same rent, same March. But back in January, Dana did two things. First, she stopped budgeting by month. She budgets by paycheck. Every check gets its own plan. A list of exactly which bills come due in the next 14 days before the next check lands. So no bill of hers is ever waiting on a paycheck that hasn't arrived. The timing trap can't touch her. There's nothing for it to catch. Second, and this is the move, Dana opened a calendar in January and marked every payday in the year. Took her about a minute. She spotted her 2 3-paycheck months instantly, and she gave those two checks a job in writing, months before they existed. By December, Dana's 2 extra checks became a full month of expenses, sitting quietly in her account. Sam's 2 extra checks became, he honestly couldn't tell you. Same job. Same money. The difference was never discipline. It was a system that could see all 26 checks. Here's the fix. 3 steps in order. And the first 2 cost nothing but a Friday evening. Step 1. Budget by paycheck, not by month. Write down your bills with their due dates. Then give every paycheck one job. Cover everything that comes due before the next check lands. 14 days at a time. That single change dissolves the timing trap forever. Because a bill can never again arrive before the money assigned to it. Step 2. Pre-claim your extra checks. Today, before they exist. Open any calendar. Seriously, pause this video and do it. Mark every payday between now and December. You'll spot your 2 3-paycheck months in about 30 seconds. Now give those 2 checks a job. In writing. Emergency fund, debt payoff, or step 3. A paycheck with a job doesn't evaporate. It's the unassigned ones that vanish. Step 3. Use those 2 checks to get 1 month ahead. Park them in your checking account and leave them alone until you're paying this month's bills with last month's money. This is the finish line, and it changes everything. Rent due on the 1st? Doesn't matter when payday is. The money's been sitting there since last month. At that point, the paycheck-to-paycheck loop doesn't get managed or juggled or survived. It gets broken, and it stays broken. Let's actually find your 2 months. It takes 30 seconds, and we'll do one together. Say your paydays land on alternating Fridays, starting January 2nd. Count with me. January, the 2nd, the 16th, the 30th. 3 paydays. There's your first one, hiding in the first month of the year. Then February gets 2. March, 2. April, May, June, 2, 2, 2. Then July, the 3rd, the 17th, the 31st. 3 again. That schedule's magic months are January and July. Yours will be different. It depends entirely on which Friday your checks land. That's why you have to count your own calendar. 2 minutes once a year. And the invisible paychecks stop being invisible. Do it tonight. Future you says thanks. If drawing it out like this made money finally click, That's this whole channel. One big money idea per video. No hype, no doom, no act now. Subscribe and you'll get the next one as soon as it's drawn. 3 numbers to keep. 26 and 24. The paychecks you get versus the paychecks your budget can see. 4.33. The real length of a month and the reason the calendar hides money from you. And $3,000. What your 2 invisible paychecks are worth this year before compounding turns them into a retirement. If your budget has been failing, it may never have been a discipline problem. It's a calendar problem. And calendar problems have mechanical fixes. You've been playing this game your whole working life. Now you've got the rule book. Before you go, a question. Which 2 months are your 3 paycheck months this year? Open your calendar, count it out, and tell me in the comments. I'll be down there. And next time on Charlie's Money, your emergency fund. Almost everyone's target number is wrong, some dangerously small, and plenty that are way too big, which is its own expensive mistake. There's a 2-number formula that gets it right in about 5 minutes. See you there?